Okay, we live on YouTube too, sir. We should not have no echo because the camera mics are off. The source of the station is going on. Okay?
Ready?
Yeah, good morning, good morning, good morning. I know you ain't seeing me, so I'm going to turn it over to the guy who you could see and who could see better than me.
What? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I say you live. You heal up the people that you see out there.
What you like to do me? You see how you like to put me on the spot?
Brother. Okay.
Put me on the spot. You know, I can't see the camera. You're pointing the camera at me. What? Listen, it's another Thursday. Good morning, people. Good morning to our listeners out there. You're listening to Reflections with Doug and Jerry, of course. I was being fooling around on the air, doing things we know we ain't supposed to be doing. How we supposed to be doing? Which one? Anyway, we entertaining.
Meaning that one with you.
we entertaining, okay?
My mother might be watching me now, not with you.
We entertaining. Good morning, Big Sis. Good morning, KJ. Good morning, Christian said. Frederick said, Mid Island. Good morning, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John. Good morning to my friends up there in New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. Mr. Nibs, will be doing well today. You know, my friends over there in Texas, you know, hey, listen, I got people listening to me all over, and they'll call and tell me, we hear you last week, you know. I said, well, you must call and tell us where you're listening from. He said, you really want me to call? I said, yeah, you know the area code 340-340-7730390. So you guys know the numbers, so call and let us know where you're listening from. Even if you're listening from Russia, we're going to take your call. Yeah.
We come close before, all the way up in Kazakhstan.
Right?
Okay, so we come close to that before. So, you don't put nothing past nobody these days. You know, what part of that?
So, like, you know, I just say, it's another Thursday. So, all you Friday worshippers, don't get jealous. Thursday begins the weekend. You know, because guess what? Without that Thursday, you ain't going to have a good weekend because you ain't going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, somebody get paid today. I don't know who, but I know somebody get paid today. Don't spend it all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you're feeling charitable, you know, other tech PayPal, Apple Cash, yeah, maybe Zelle and all them things. Yeah. Just check me out. I'll give my information. You can send me something.
Yeah. So we start off the week with who filed it is. Who to blame? Who to blame, the son? We ain't got no horse racing coming no time soon. Who to blame? Okay, so we hear the legislature basically sent it to committee. It's a strange kind of thing. People, you need to understand that the legislature can't force nobody to negotiate. First of all, in that sense, negotiation truly is the executive branch bailiwick, so to speak. But that don't mean that senators don't go and talk to potential investors and come up with stuff and so forth and so on. You never know.
All right, my question is, who authored the bill?
Well, the thing is, that's always the question, Jared. That's always the question. When you're doing negotiation, that's how a bill comes up. But what I'm saying is this. This is September practical.
Yeah.
Okay. We have an election coming up. Everybody busy campaigning. So how you're going to renegotiate that and pass it by the time election comes? And I say that because to the extent that they could do something for everybody in horse racing, they want to do it now because election coming up.
Yeah,
right?
I
But
understand.
I'm just saying that in the meantime, the reality is we have no horse racing. No, that's not something new.
We have
And this is something I will point out to people. If you want to keep doing the same thing over and over, you keep doing the same thing over and over. But I listen to some of the things that people um, grandstanding on at the legislature, not just horse racing. They've been watching certain issues for the past 6, 9 months, and they say, "Yeah, I gonna save that up for when election coming, and I go on bad with it, and the people gonna know I fighting for them, and they gonna vote for me." And I'm saying, "I got enough things you could solve and get credit for. You don't have to save them up for election." Because that's what I see going on. The folks trying to do something like that. Okay. Now the the reality is that Cinqueira out in the pool again. If they could pull off a miracle, let me see them pull off a miracle. I just haven't seen anybody able to hold cats during election and cats running for office. Okay?
But
So,
Doug,
but if you know how to hold cats, definitely share the wisdom.
Doug, I listen to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to what they say the bill entails. I don't have the bill. I didn't read it,
No, just
but
go ahead and speak to it as you
I
understand
listen.
it.
But I didn't like the bill.
Well, I ain't say you should like the bill. I ain't say anybody should like the bill. I ain't say they should approve the bill.
Right.
I am
I know.
saying the horse racing issue that we have here,
Mm-hmm.
for them to wait till now, is shenanigans on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Let's not get caught up. Doug is not saying that the bill should have been passed as is. I am saying right now the way it stands, Sinclair screwed again.
Well,
Okay, that's it.
we are guess what?
Because in the mean, no, you mean that. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna be masochistic. I ain't gonna wish that on myself or anybody else
You
around
wish
me.
you not done it. But
But I'm just saying to
you
you,
know I'm a realist.
well, we get screwed when crucial senators go and do stupidness and nobody holds them accountable. Okay, that's it. Now that's something that can change.
This structure.
Well or not, it will change. That remains to be seen. If you go around saying, well,
Brother,
I don't go to religion here. Okay, everybody out there who's saying it don't make no sense because the end is near and this that. So lay down and dead, go down to the graveyard and dig a thing and lay down and wait. Right? No, I mean that. In the meantime, we are stewards and we have a job to do. And I'm saying that yes, we have a bad history here in St. Croix, but I don't mean it can't change. Because we got good history here in St. Croix that is about change.
we need to restructure the legislature.
Brother man, and is that gonna happen between now
For accountability. No,
okay
it's
then.
not going to happen between now and November. But all I'm saying is we need to restructure. We have, what do you call it, 14 district senators. The organic access, one district senator. One. So how you get 14?
Brother,
Huh?
brother, no, see, you're going into the weeds now.
No,
You're going no,
no.
I tell you, you're going into the weeds.
You see,
I tell you, you're going into the
don't
weeds
like when
because
people talk about that.
no, but brother, you don't seem to understand that the law evolves and has changed, and this
Yeah,
is
but
the
there's no
problem.
accountability.
Well,
There's no
what you're talking
accountability. There's no accountability within this legislature.
that has nothing to do
So
with
that's
number of
why they
senators.
don't do what they want.
What does it have to do with?
It,
Get to
it
the root
has
of
a
the
lot.
problem.
No,
Well, what is the
listen.
root?
It don't make sense talking to y'all out there when y'all don't listen to these things. You
Who's
know,
you all?
y'all don't listen to these
Who's you
things.
all?
Y'all don't watch these things. Y'all don't watch how these things happening, how There's no accountability.
I can't wait for I can't wait for when you run for governor, Mr. I serious, and I'm not being I'm not making marijuana.
I could be a senator. I could be a senator, and a person come to me with a problem, and I could tell them, oh, go check the other senator because I don't deal with it, you know, because you can't hold me accountable. You understand?
Well,
accountability. We have nobody accountable for nothing.
But what you're talking about is you're talking about apples and oranges in terms of what I am talking about.
I'm telling you how the structure of the legislature.
We know that we had that push, and they went and postponed it to the half-year elections, and we didn't get the response. I understand that, but we are where we are now.
The structure is unconstitutional.
Well, brother, take your case to Congress, to the Supreme Court, and get it turned over. Okay? All I'm saying is that there's something to be done, Gerald.
Nothing ain't gonna get done.
Okay. So why are you here today then? To tell everybody that nothing ain't gonna get done?
No.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to go in a direction where we could say maybe that something can be done, a sense of direction or whatever. Anybody could say nothing ain't gonna get done. If that's where you're gonna end up, then it's like everybody who don't call a talk show predictably every day say the same thing over and over again. We know what the problem is.
The root, I know the root of the problem is the root of the problem.
So what you gonna do about it?
And we all know the root of the problem.
So what you gonna do about it?
You know.
So what you gonna do about it?
What we gonna do about it? We tried to make a change once before.
Who is we?
The people.
King, we want things to change, and King wants you and say, "Who is we?" And you look wrong behind you. Who is we? Who is we? All right.
We need to restructure that legislature.
But we understand. We understand that when you don't have sub-districting of any type, you insulate individual senators from accountability. Okay.
Now you're talking.
But I'm not talking. I asked you the question. What's the solution? Well, if we're gonna go towards sub-district, if you tell me, well, until we have sub-districting, then the person out there understands what you're talking about. Other than that, you just expressing an opinion. You know what it'll say about them thing there. Okay?
But you know what you're talking about. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
But brother, that's why I went the next step, because what you don't realize is you talking in generalities that don't inspire or place ideas in your listening audience. That's why I say if you want to go sub-district, then I can understand that for accountability.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but that still has to be a grassroots effort. It have to come from the people. Okay, so now.
Yeah,
I was watching on Facebook, and I just happened to come across this person who's a candidate for at-large senator. Okay, the name isn't really as important as the story. So they're running for at-large senator, and they will come into St. Croix according to what they represented. Okay, I'm going by what they represented because I'm not part of the committee planning or anything like that. I'm going by what they represented. So they will come into St. Croix to do a meet and greet. And the meet and greet was going to be at a location where the property is leased from the VI government. And according to the representation, two senators, one known and one unknown, according to the representation, went and did whatever due diligence supposedly to have the appropriate agency who leased them the property and tell them they can't do that there because of the terms of the lease. No, I don't have the lease, so I can't tell you that that's true. But it reminds me so much of the fact that if senators took that initiative to block that individual. First of all, I tell you that they're flexing as government officials to stop someone who's running for office that could potentially replace them or a friend of theirs in office. Okay, so they have an interest there in intimidating and defeating the effort of that individual having a meeting on those premises. Now, I'd be interested to see the lease.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, I'd be interested to say that interested to say the lease, to see the lease. And the thing about this is any event that you have on property that's leased from the Virgin Islands government, okay, that your primary purpose is doing a particular business, and that's what you do with it. So somebody comes along and has a certain political point of view and they're a guest speaker, then all of a sudden your lease could become in jeopardy. You know, we sounding like, you know, we there in Russia or something, or okay,
Yeah.
okay, because next thing I know they're gonna be passing out Nova in Crucian Rum or something. All right. Anyhow, anyhow, it just reminded me of an experience that I had. All right. When I ran for the Senate, and of course, I was working at the legislature. And of course, you know, if you're running for the Senate, you have to leave your job, take leave, or whatever the mechanism. Well, I did that, and I came to the legislature physically to do some research on some bills. And I was there, which, by the way, them was the days when Carmen was down there. How you doing, Carmen? I see you all the time when I pass by Gateway there. Okay, from time to time. Anyhow, the I was there, and the security was sent to escort me off the premises because I can't be on the premises since I'm running for office. And I'm like, say what? This is a government entity that provides information to the public, and I'm here in that capacity. I ain't here campaigning or whatever, it's doing research. Right? Now, the senator that took that initiative at the time was running things on St. Croix. Okay, let's say, for our practical purposes. And they decided that they wanted to throw me off the premises because I was running for office. Okay? Well, I went to the top senator who run everything, and I run it down to them. And they basically said, no, they can't do that. And they set everything straight one time. And I will always respect that person. We were different political affiliations and everything else, but the person was a professional and they were real and they respect the constituency of the people of the Virgin Islands, period. Well, the reality is that there's always been certain inequities about the nature of running for office. If you're an incumbent, you have the benefits of being an incumbent. Fine, no problem with that. But to try and frustrate the will of the people to meet and discuss what is going on in government and to make a decision as to who they're going to support or not support, I think that's kind of like a slippery slope. Okay, I think it's kind of a slippery slope. But the first thing to happen, hopefully, will be that the lease will be shared and discussed in public for us to say, well, it says clearly in the lease, no event that is political in nature. I mean, when you see, you get into these grounds where people have to say, well, what's political in nature? election is election. That's a people thing. Anyhow, new times, new candidates, same old shenanigans for whatever it's worth. Okay, so fair is fair, unfair is unfair. It all depends on what the people are willing to accept. Okay, and then just leave it at that. We'll see where it goes. I know this much: to the extent that it is traceable back to certain senators, that this was their will. That also means that they have systematically alienated the people who were supporting that candidate. And obviously, we're talking about an at-large candidate because we're coming from St. Thomas, St. John to St. Croix. Obviously, okay. So that means now that the people who would have supported that person and the people who had an open mind are now very open to saying, I feel a certain way about the other people who said that I shouldn't be able to talk to this person and hear what they have to say. And so I done with you. And I done with you. And I done with you. Whoever the people are that can be associated with that. People do what they want to do. When I had my experience, one of several, when I had my experience, I didn't run out there and say, well, so and so tried to do this to me. I left it to karma, and karma worked just fine. Okay, karma worked just fine. But in the case of the lease, I am just saying that, folks, we need to revisit these things because it's substantively and substantially the business purpose of the lease is not being suborned or subject or undermined by somebody having a political opinion. I think that might be a bridge too far. But we'll see where it goes, okay? We'll see where it goes because the fact of the matter is, these days in the United States, if I go out there and habla a little bit too much Espanol, you might hear that dog get picked up.
Ice coming with you.
Okay? That's where we get today. So now, if I have an opinion about a certain commander-in-chief and I am previously in the military, they could say, well, I want to pull you back in and cut your benefits and prosecute you. I mean, that's how far we get today. So what are we going to do? Cower and hide and don't say nothing? No, I don't know that that's how America came to be what America is today. But we'll see what America going to be tomorrow. And what the Virgin Islands is going to be tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah.
But to swing back full circle, the issue of horse racing been around for more than the past 2 years. So why are we at the 11th hour dealing with horse racing? Okay? Or the hospital, or mental health. Why is a very simple answer. Somebody either have an agenda financially, or somebody have an agenda politically, or some combination of the two. Let the chips fall with me. Right? But either which way, unless they're gonna work a miracle, once again the people of St. Croix get screwed. I'm done on that. Okay? Anyhow, got lots of good things going on in these here Virgin Islands, and this is the other side of things that we have to address, because we got athletes going around winning all kind of events and making new records and putting the Virgin Islands on the international map. Hey, and these things are important. You got the violence in the schools, I hear more about that than the children who doing the good things that they do. Right now, I'm hearing all kind of interesting things about this violence in the schools. I wish I could say like I knew what the silver bullet was, and maybe I shouldn't even use a bullet. What bullshit is they need to eat to stop it. Okay, bullets. What bush they need to eat to stop it. And then that's a dangerous one. Okay, we got this other bush out there, people talking about that will mash up young people's brain. But anyhow.
Well, maybe we need to employ that thing that.
No, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Inflict some corporal punishment.
Because I remember when a smart child said to a parent one time, "Parent, well, always resort to violence. Don't go there." Anyhow,
listen to me.
I listen.
When I went to Elena Christian Junior High School, one time we were doing something, and the principal was walking around, and he had a thing look like a miniature cricket bat. Right? And the thing was look like it was good heavy. Eh? So I was brave. I asked him, I said, what up? He said, if you misbehave, you're going to come to my office and I'll introduce you to it. I said, okay. That kept me in line. I didn't want to see that thing. You understand? Until when they said about they mustn't, the teachers and things mustn't discipline students in that manner, whatever.
Well,
my thing is, I feel you could discipline a child, right? But do not abuse the child.
All right. I think and most people except the child that don't want to be disciplined, period, would agree with that. So we could agree with that and move forward. But how has the community changed?
Because from then they stop that, and then they pass these law about how if you beat your child, the child will call police for you, and all that thing. I would tarnish your behind and give you the phone.
Well, I hear you, and not only that, but the judges are out there saying, you got enough to bring your parent in here for this, okay? And that's where I say that the law is not related to a mule, okay? And that has to do with that, okay?
That's my first experience.
Okay. How much experience you had, so?
I was walking with my firstborn, and he did something that you weren't supposed to. I take my hand, I cuff it like this, and I drive you a hand in the backside. A police was passing, he stopped the car. He said, if you hit him again, I'm going to jail you. I said, yeah? I drive you another, that's just for spite. I said, because when he come a man now, and he do something he's supposed to do, he was say I didn't raise him right? He just put back up the glass and drive off. Okay? Don't tell me.
But you see that I hear you. There are individual people out there who are part of the solution, and you have individual people out there who are part of the problem. I'm trying to talk from the bigger perspective of things. What has changed? Okay, what has changed? When did the change start?
Did the change start when children started making children?
I would tend to agree with you, but it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that.
Well, I saw that change about then, because when younger people was making children, like I went to school with a couple that was married, they were like 16, 17, and they were married, they don't have but 2 children, and they were children themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have situations like that, you know, and these younger people who ain't really experienced life, you know, or experience um, good discipline in the home, you know, and they start to make these get these children, and so the children that run wild, the children that run around with no direction.
Okay, now let's accept that in terms of something you just put in forward. But what I tell you is deeper. I think we can agree that parenting skills is a core factor of parenting skills. It's one thing to be a parent and it's another thing to be a friend.
Exactly.
Now, we went through a time when granny and grandpa and auntie and whoever was available, and you had the extended family,
Hmm.
and you had to some degree the village. Just the same way you could, if you walk down the road, Dobby could tell you about some of the things then that he did or didn't do, and how he reached home and what happened to he. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right. And I could tell you that me walking down the road, I know it's good morning, good afternoon, whatever the
Yeah.
situation would be.
Hmm.
All right. You have a whole bunch of adults out here that don't understand those things now. So even as adults going into parenting, not my child.
No, no, no.
I remember when Vargrave Richards was running for the Senate, and he had a ad out there with oh my, okay. Oh wow, the name, Pemberton, Auntie Janice. Yes, Auntie Janice was in
Hmm.
the ad
Hmm.
about checking your child bag and this, that, and the other. And take care is better than don't care. I wish we had those videos and ads still. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I remember
take
that.
care is better than don't
Yeah,
care.
I remember that. But I'm gonna tell you something
I,
about that. Um, you know, what in my neighborhood, one day I witnessed an argument between my mother and the neighbor. So the next morning, I was going up the road, going to the bus. I see the woman to the corner of my eye. Me said, I just passed on my street. Me said nothing. So I went to school, come home. When I reach home, boy, the clobbering I get, want to know if I think I'm a man.
you went again, big people
Yeah,
business.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But that,
I said, but mommy, you wouldn't talk to her. They don't care.
yeah, but now you're coming back to what I said. We had a different scenario there,
Mm.
from extended family all the way into the village.
Hmm.
Now we have folks out there that will swear up and down, not my child. That's why I come back to Auntie Janice and take care is better than don't care. Not my child. We have situations where child live in the house and parent can't go in their room. Okay, and I'm just saying this because we need to understand what the playing field looks like now. Okay,
Wait, the children paying rent or?
however you want to look at it, Jared, I'm just telling you how the playing field has changed in some regards. Now, so you may have your home and your standard in your home. Okay, um, if there's going to be disrespect in my home, it's going to be rooted out. That's me.
Yeah,
Okay, all the way to, like, if you need to go and get your own place to live and exercise your own judgment, that's fine.
you lock a
All
door in
right,
my house and taking the door off the hinge.
right. I understand that, but the fact of the matter is, we have situations where the child comes in the house and they have something that the parent know. They didn't give them. And once upon a time, it was like, take it back where you get it from. Okay. So I don't want to be like we reminiscing on how things used to be, as much so as recognizing where we are. And if we want to get off of that course, some of what we need to do.
I had to, if I bring home something, I had better produce a receipt.
Yeah. So again, we don't want to be belaboring how it used to be,
Yeah, I know.
as opposed to saying, well, where we are and where we're going from here. Okay. The fact of the matter is that things have changed in a way that it's much more challenging. When a student went into the office at Central High and beat the stuff out of someone in the school leadership, teacher, administration, whatever the case may be, and in my wildest dream,
Mhm.
I mean, I would have had to have been bitten by a rabid dog and otherwise taking some hallucinogen drug or whatever. In my wildest dreams, and still, I would have said, no, sir, I can't do that there. That's how deeply ingrained it was. I mean, when I went off to college, drugs was all around. And as usual, you know how drugs is. Everybody offer you some. And for me, what went through my mind
Mhm.
is like, how I gonna explain to my parents that I come up here to go to school and get a degree and make them proud, and I drop out of school because of drugs. Me didn't even get to the point where I accept anything from anybody, I already had that defense mechanism, I want to call it, built into me, sense of self and direction. I had that. But that comes from in the home and the sense of community. Right now, one of the things that community does best is talk about our young people and what are they doing that's wrong, bad, or otherwise. Because when we have children go out and make a mark internationally, and we don't have a parade for them, siren going off and everything, everybody want to know what happened. Okay, what these young people do, they do something good. Okay, so the sirens was about something good, not about some bad incident or fight in the schools or whatever the case may be. Now, there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it. Representations were made with VINGN and all the computers we were going to get and how it was going to facilitate these centers where children could go and have access to computers and so forth. Brother, it never happened. It never happened. Okay, it ain't no different than when the casino were coming in and the representation were made that, hey, we're gonna buy up all the empty seats and to bring in people here to gamble. Never happened. Okay, never happened. So why didn't it happen? Well, there are a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons in particular is that computers were not important the way phones are today to the average adult. They didn't see the importance of it. And now where are we? Economics wise, entrepreneurship wise, health wise, research wise. You can't get away from it.
True.
It's a necessary tool.
Yep. Most people have
Mm-hmm. Don't get distracted. Focus. Okay.
Most people
Nobody
have
calling you.
most people
Mind
have
your business.
most people have a tablet, whether it be an Android tablet or iPad. You know, which is an iPad is like a mini computer.
Okay.
You know, um, hell, an iPhone is like a computer in your hand.
Mm-hmm. And what trip are we there? Even blind people use them.
You know, you want to listen.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
You catch me go with that one.
Folks, WSTX AM 970. It's only one place like this place. Yes. Anyhow, and
Yeah.
for you, for all of you who are out there, okay, um, dog is not what, Jared? Dog is not what?
Dog is not what?
Is dog a good guy or a bad guy?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
The jury's still out on that
The
one.
jury's still out. Anyhow, but seriously speaking, okay,
You know.
seriously speaking, were you still on the non-serious side? I told you that deep, brother. I get you that good.
So as I was saying,
As you were saying, anyhow,
you know,
I'm glad to say that cars became ubiquitous. Yes. Well, you ain't getting my keys. Go ahead.
you know,
My phone maybe, but not my keys.
no, you know, people have their Chromebooks, their laptops, the various in various forms, whether it's a Mac, you know, wherever you turn around, somebody have some form of a
Computing power.
Yeah, of computing power. And most of the time, all they have is that phone in the palm of their hand. And they're using it to do all kinds of things, that one phone. So, you know, um, but as a segue a little bit, Monday I went to the Richmond Senior Center to do a presentation on assistive technology. So after I was showing them like the Be My Eyes app, you know, Be My Eyes is a camera that assists the blind in two ways. You can use it as a blind user, or you can use it as a volunteer. And then there's a third way where you can use it as what it says, Be My AI. So Be My AI is uh, when you take a picture and the Be My Eyes app will describe everything that's in that picture. When I say everything, everything. So I did that while I was at the senior center. It described all the colors the ladies had on, the various shades of skin color, their names that they had in front of them. I mean, everything. And they were like, what? So then I was like, somebody give me some money, a paper money. Don't tell me what it is. So the guy closest to me gave me a bill. So I opened up a thing called iNote on the phone. I scan it, boop, it says $20 back. They were like, what? I said, yeah. So if you out and about and you're doing a money transaction, if you can't see the money, this app will assist you with identifying what you have. So in all of that, the different stuff I'm showing, at the end, you know, they had questions and answers. One lady said, with all the things you can do you drive? As I told her, I said, I have a driver's license. I can buy, I can own a car. I can license and insure a car, but I can't drive it. Somebody have to drive it for me. Does that answer your question? I said, furthermore, would you like me to be driving in my condition? She got quiet.
Her imagination was hard at work. Mm.
You know, so they were asking if gone are the days that you hold the money, you know, put it in your wallet. I said no, you could still use the same app to identify the money and fold it how you're going to identify it and put it away in your wallet. I said this is just an extra tool to use rather than waiting for somebody to come by to assist you to identify the money. You could use your phone to identify the money one time, and then when you're out and about and you're doing a money transaction, this will also assist you identifying the change you may get back from whoever it is you're dealing with.
Mhm.
I said because it's not everybody you're gonna meet gonna be honest, you know.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, it's about 12 minutes before the hour of 9, right? And I'm gonna change gears a little bit. I was watching an article, reading an article, taking in an article where the person was talking about camera surveillance. Camera surveillance meaning, in particular, we have flock cameras on the island,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very easy to know where those cameras are. But we should be following what's happening nationally also with regards to flock cameras and the concept of being able to go around where you want to do without being surveilled just for minding your business. Now, the the gist of the article from my perspective was that we're getting all this great technology for doing stuff that could be helpful to solving crime, but we have not put in a legal framework in place to make sure that we have policies and procedures that's going to uh, prevent and deal with when and if it does occur abuse of the system. Gerard,
Mm-hmm.
if we have the ability to monitor where people go and we're collecting all that data, how long do we keep that data? All right. Now, relative to an investigation, an ongoing a particular investigation, it may be for an extended period of time. The particular tranche of data that they need in terms of dealing with a particular crime or something investigation.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that there are ways in which people in authority can access this information and use it outside of the scope of their particular position and the intent because we don't have a legal framework in place to protect people
Well,
from this abuse.
you sure about it?
Locally,
Mm-hmm.
that we don't have the law. I'm not talking about surety. I'm saying the gist of the article. But I'm going to tell you from a general proposition,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that they're correct. What laws do you know that have been put on in place that prevents a police officer or someone in Vitima or someone in the governor's office from following this person that drive this certain BM or Mercedes or whatever that they like or that they want to make sure that ain't going wrong who they don't want to be wrong and ultimately lead to things happening. What laws do we have in place?
Somebody tracking the hand, a man or the hand, a woman.
It could be that. It could be it could be that. But I'm just saying, all you gotta do is go online and Google flock cameras, and you will see all kinds of articles. But in particular, you will see a whole lot of articles where police have been fired, where people have sued, where it's clear that there are no guardrails. Okay, because when somebody who is, an, your political adversary, and I don't mean but as like you're in office and they're in office or anything like that. Political adversary, they don't like you. And they say, yeah, what you were doing at this hour down by so and so house. Now, it might have been an innocent reason why you're there. Okay? But the insinuation and everything else and so forth, why should that person be able to go through that data and retrieve that information and then come and do those kind of things?
They don't
Now, let's look at it another way. Let's say you have a domestic abuse situation, and the appropriate agencies are trying to help non more often non-public. Why should those people be put at risk because somebody who is somebody friend say, I see it so and so, whatever, and there goes the problem. So it's nice to have all this new technology. And let's say, for instance, now there's a hit and run at a certain location. The police should be able to go into the flock system if it turns out that it's within the range that they have to pass one of these cameras and see for the past, um, let's say, hour before and however many hours after, which cars pass in those areas. And do any of them match the description if a description was given and so forth and so on? Yeah. So now they're investigating this and they have that data and surveillance information and so forth and so on. And there's an investigation going on. They got that to use. So I understand why they would retain that data. Okay. But if I went to the theater 5 years ago, ain't nobody in government or police or whatever supposed to say, yeah, I see you went theater 5 years ago. That ain't their business. Okay? So they come back and say, well, I see um, Gerard Dung in Frederickstead. Live and wait. I ain't got no way. That's double entendre. That's double entendre there, brother man. Don't expose yourself. But anyhow, serious business. Serious business though. That ain't their business. They should not be able to go into this system and retrieve, manipulate, or otherwise use it for personal benefit, personal profit, or personality issues, whatever. But that's where we are. So all of these people who are running for office need to be aware so that they don't get caught on the I against it or I for it side of it, because that defeating the purpose of the benefit that it could be if you have the proper legal framework to ensure that it's not going to be abused. And right now we have no such framework. Okay. But there's a whole lot going on with flat cameras. I would encourage you and everyone out there to just jump on your local Google and see what's going on and know that if it happening there, it could happen here. Okay. And we have all these jurisdictions that are passing their various ordinances and so forth and so on, that we should be getting a copy of those things and studying them and saying, would this be a good thing for us to have here? Okay. Now, one of the things I'm curious about is what are the laws, what are the policies for getting access to body camera video in the Virgin Islands. Do our body cameras collect information and automatically put it on the web so that if the body camera are walking and somebody fire a shot at the police and it hit the body camera and the body camera mash up, that the information that was in that camera is preserved because we have a system where not only does it record, but through the system also puts it onto the internet in a pool that belongs to the police. You think about that, okay? What provisions are there that says when a policeman is supposed to turn on that camera? And what provisions are there if they turn it off manually? And you know something, Jared? These things have codes in them. So if you manually disable the camera, they have those codes so that you can, in essence, in a legal context, know whether or not something's been tampered with at a time when the camera was supposed to be running or otherwise. Okay, so I'm saying this because if you study what's going on with body cameras across the United States, you understand that there's certain games that people try to play with these cameras, and those games can be undermined just by putting the proper procedures and facilities in place. You know, if you have one server that collects information from body cams, and that server doesn't automatically back up to the cloud, all right? All you need is one good search from WAPA and gone. Think about it, all right? So anyhow, it's there. So I'm throwing out these things as food for thought because ultimately they affect in some way, form, or fashion our quality of life. All right. So, Jared, how come you ain't tell me you win the lottery the other day? You know your boy here in need, you gonna win the lottery and just forget to know me? That's how you walk.
I win the lottery and still here.
Oh Lordy. Yeah. Still here. Okay. Undercover. All right. Undercover. All right. Good thing. So it's almost that time. I know that a marshal is gonna come in here and say, hey, this is what is the deal. We move in. All right. So anyhow. Before the horses, there were the VLTs. You remember the debate about VLTs? The VLTs was the way around the casino commission to get gambling into St. Thomas, basically. No, after that, that's not feeling one way or the other. That's the reality of what it was. Okay, because I remember when a certain Crucian senator told me as another Crucian senator that the casino should have been in St. Thomas, not in St. Croix. Now, they have people who might agree with them with that. Maybe some people see the casinos as more of a negative or whatever the case may be. But there's one thing for sure. The casinos are dealing with local money for the most part. We ain't got people flying in here like how the people are go to Las Vegas to gamble. So the more we expand, I heard somebody suggest that we go have an expansion of casino-like activity toward the middle of the island. Okay,
I don't know.
I'm just saying. That's the word.
All right.
Them man, them woman, and children say.
All right.
Okay?
School children.
But anyhow, school children or out of school children, whatever. It's somebody's child.
All right, people.
Anyhow.
We're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, but let me finish this thought. The fact of the matter is, if people ain't flying in to gamble, whose money gambling and where going? Because ultimately, who own these companies with it or keep their money? All right? Go ahead, brother. It's that time.
We're at the top of the hour. You're listening to Reflections on WSTX AM 970. We're going to take a break. We got to keep the lights on, the mics on. We're going to listen to our these messages. We'll be back in a few minutes. Numbers to call is 340-773-0390, 773-0490.
More. And most items close the store are 20% off. And liquidation deals go up to 50% off.
Back in the day.
Shop local. Save more. Feel
And then they had Electric Avenue come.
Electronics. Your
Electric
one-stop shop for
Avenue was
electronics,
on, yeah.
home and beauty, gaming,
still
toys,
around.
and more.
Mike's
Right next
goes
to
on and
Viking gas
relocate.
station. Check
And
them
this
out
still in the same
today.
spot.
What if this summer wasn't about doing more, but about taking better care of yourself? At Pampered VI Day Spa and Lash Lounge, we're inviting you to experience our brand new summer reset collection.
He and
A
Noah
3-month
was there.
journey to refresh,
Both of them
refine,
father.
and renew.
There were
Whether
two
you
brothers
choose
there.
our signature Epiglow facial with dermaplaning, a deeply hydrating
Noah
low
and
bath
Adele.
facial, our relaxing signature massage, Island Glow Body Scrub, or the Pampered Brazilian, every qualifying visit becomes part of your self-care journey. You'll receive your complimentary Pampered Passport, earn exclusive rewards throughout the summer, and complete all 3 phases for a chance to win a $250 Pampered VI gift certificate. Because at Pampered VI, we believe every guest leaves feeling better than when they arrive. Visit us in historic downtown Christiansted. Call 340-773-7728 to reserve your appointment, or book online at PamperedVI.com. Pampered VI Day Spa and Lash Lounge. Refresh, refine, renew.
Giving you more music variety. This is AM 970 WSTX.
Yeah, folks. I there. Can't say we there. Yeah. Jared abandoned ship. I ain't know if he on the aircraft carrier looking to jump into the water or whatever. But anyhow, and that's a serious matter there, because for those of you who've been following the news, the gentleman who, for whatever reason, probably mental health issues, want to jump off the ship, taking disciplinary action against the young man. So we'll see where that going. Okay, we got a caller here. I got you. Yeah. Okay, WSTX.
Yes, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, but you ain't sounding so strong, brother. What's up with your voice thing up there?
Well, my son, you know when you go to a lot of friends that meeting, you gotta be talking.
Oh Lord, you ain't gotta go to them thing to be talking. So you already at risk. Anyhow, go ahead.
Thank you. I would love to do a random act.
Not with me. You see, you are Jared dangerous, my son.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I really would. I must. Let me put it this way. Start my dissertation today with education. In Palm Beach County, Florida, the largest county in the state of Florida, where I happen to reside when I did it. The public school system has lost $100 million in federal funding. Well, why? Why is that? Because of a drop of some 7,000 in enrollment, student enrollment in this new school year. Now one might ask, well, where the students gone? Where they gone? Well, for the most part, they're not still in camps. They were deported back to Haiti, not Haiti, Haiti, or Spanish countries, or even back to the motherland of Africa. Some would say, well, if they're illegally, but you can get them and get them. Well, if you finish the plan, you plan to fail. And it took this type of thing to happen for the president of the United States of America to realize, oh, Jesus Christ, I cannot do it differently. I can't find nobody to do the work. These people who are doing the work, it then tells you this gentle fella don't know the history of the country that he's supposed to be leading. Who is America? They're aliens and foreigners and everybody else. Oh my Christ. But so we have big problems. So of course, in the school system, if you don't have the clientele, which is the student, then you got the principal, teacher, custodian, everybody has go. So you add it to the unemployment. Don't you help me with this thing now?
Yeah, well, you know, it's clear that the way they're dealing with immigration is like a bull in a china shop. Okay, and so they're blocking up everything.
Yeah.
Even the things that's beneficial to them, they're blocking it up.
Of course.
Okay, so that's just the way it is, brother. Okay,
Yeah, but should it be that way? It's not making sense. Why don't they try something that makes sense?
Well, brother, are they really interested in making sense? Are they really interested in making sense?
That's why, Jared, I only do a random act.
I look at what's going on with Canada and the tariffs and all of this other stuff, and what's making sense?
Hey.
Okay, and basically they're basically saying that it's more beneficial for Canada and Mexico to do business with China than to do it with the United States, and let's say that leads to that logical result. Okay, you know, we don't say love alone. I don't know how we're gonna be America alone.
You're gonna be America alone.
Okay, I mean, so at this point, Mr. Nibs, they're not interested in what makes sense. They are focused like zealots on what is ultimately going to be a self-destruction.
Thank you.
All right, and I say that as a person who studied the law, studied the Constitution, all these things, I mean, I have absolutely no faith right now in the legal process that the federal government is supposed to represent when it comes to our constitution and individual rights and due process and all this. All they're doing is they're showing you it doesn't mean anything anymore. The Constitution sets up the voting process a certain way, and the Supreme Court can step in and say, well, we let him do what he's doing for now. I mean, that's a roundabout way of saying, well, we know it's wrong, but that's our boy.
Yeah.
Okay? And hey, if it good with the rest of America, who is done? You know what I'm saying? Who is done?
Right.
So when you say it like that, Mr. Nibs, all you could do is just say, well, let's see what part is going on.
Right. But you see, I believe, I know that the President of the United States has fast come to realize that it is not everybody that will bow and genuflect to he.
Okay.
Tell him, go ahead.
All right.
But that's the rest.
We got somebody on line one, right?
Okay.
So I ain't gonna stay that long, but listen, follow me here, right?
Yeah.
Everything that's happening in America right now is
Mhm.
is benefiting somebody under this administration.
Of course.
Okay, when you have immigration, the people who building all these big facilities and holding them, they had an airline that was being used to deport them.
Yeah.
Okay, you have the war. You
Yeah.
know, Boeing and all of these people start gone sky high.
Of course.
You know, Grumman, and all of them, they got sky high. So the price of oil gone up. His oil friends are making money hand over fist.
Millionaires are
The,
becoming
the, the
ultra-millionaires.
dismantling and destruction of America is of benefit to him and his friends.
Yes.
And I I can hope that America realizes what's going on. But like I said, I'm to the point I just watching to see where it's gonna go. Cause
Yeah, well, give live on a chance.
yeah, all right,
I must go by saying this. Those that read the Bible should now first come to realize that it is written, it was done, and this is what will happen.
In Revelations.
yeah. Anyhow,
That's a revelation.
all right. Well,
Okay.
okay. Listening. I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. WSTX.
Yes. If you have been following Trump since the 90s when he first made it to national news, he had opened up a casino and it failed. He had vodka that he was selling and that failed. These are two industries that must have a captive customer. People get addicted to gambling and they get addicted to alcohol. If you have a business in these areas and fail, you have to be the worst businessman ever. That's like a drug cartel leader failing. They don't fail in their business. They get killed. They don't fail because the product sells itself. People get addicted to it and buy it.
You forget the Trump steaks.
Huh?
The Trump steaks and the Trump water.
Right. So the only business that he succeeded in is the business that is supported by his father's friends, and that's real estate. So he has Mar-a-Lago in Doral, Florida, outside of Miami, that is doing well. And that's, again, people from New York tend to retire in Florida. that is what is his father's business partners that are keeping that going and keeping the only thing that he does out there. So what's happening with his presidency should not be surprising. It would be surprising if it went another way. This is his track record.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not a good decision maker.
Right. But that aside, if you look at,
I mean, I said, if you could fail in alcohol and a casino, where you have people addicted to it. They had this woman who killed her mother and then went the next day to his casino to gamble when it was open.
Okay. Well, you know, the man has a history of failing up. Okay, failing and moving up. But on a related but a different track. Okay, the dismantling that's going on in immigration, the war, the healthcare, everything else. There's a very clear pattern that it all is to the enrichment of him and his friends. The enrichment. Yeah, it's all leading toward the enrichment of him and his friends. From whether it's the war, is to change insurance set up so that, in fact, people can be gouged more or whatever the case may be. Everything is really happening with a plan toward redefining America in a way that America, in terms of the greater population, is going to be depressed, repressed, suppressed, whatever, and that small percentage of people that he considers his friends are going to be elevated financially. And they don't really care if America implodes, because when you look at how they keep their money, it's not dependent on America staying afloat. But the people of America have to come to that recognition on their own. So that's why I said, from my perspective, I just seeing where this thing gonna go. You know.
And this is also what happens. People will be like, oh, we should have a businessman as the president or as the governor. And I keep saying that is going to be problematic if that person still wants to make money. If that person has already achieved and got money, and if their money is making money and they don't really need to do anything more, then they could possibly be a good leader. But if they're still in the frame of trying to make money for themselves, that's what they're going to do. And that's what he's doing. He's using the power of the president to manipulate the markets so that he and his family and friends can make money. He can't do it without doing that. If he can't manipulate the markets, when he goes into these different businesses, if they fail, the only way he can make money is by being able, as president, to manipulate the market, put a tariff here, go to war there. He's basically thinking as a businessman.
Exactly.
He is doing things to make money for himself and his family and friends.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you put a businessman in the top position of a thing when they're still in that businessman mentality.
Yeah, you hear him say. You hear him say that he doesn't have any particular timeline on the war in Iran. No. Okay.
Right.
Of course he doesn't, because it's making money hand over fist for him and his friends. But the challenge is that the greater public is somehow not understanding these things. I mean, your gasoline gone up, your healthcare gone down, you know, in terms of availability of healthcare, your medication more expensive, your groceries more expensive, your cars more expensive.
But they're being entertained. Do you remember what he was doing before he became president?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apprentice. His presidency is just a continuation of that show. And the people are being entertained, so they don't really care. When you know, and that's the thing. Right now, with the U.S., people are not worrying about food. You know, so they're not worrying about the basic things as yet. And when you have people like that, then entertainment becomes their top priority. not going to come after. They're going to let him do whatever it is, because the U.S. They'll pay top dollar to be entertained. Look at how much they pay for concerts, football games, soccer. They will pay a premium price to be entertained, and that premium price apparently includes their loved ones, going off to war and getting killed. And he knows this. He knows this about, I guess, his days with The Apprentice. He came to realize that this is what people will allow you to allow foolishness as long as you're entertaining them. And that's what he does. He comes on, he says the crazy stuff, then the news people play it 50 times a day. When that wears down, then he does some other craziness to entertain the people. And this is America.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's one of those things. So you just see what's going on, and you want to know where it's going, and you just, for me, like I said, I'm to that point where let's see where this goes.
And another thing, look at the so when he bombs those boats from Venezuela and stuff, that goes on the news. People get entertained. People, look at those games they play at Grand Theft Auto, Call to Duty. This is all part of it. They're saying that he doesn't even, like when he gets his news briefings, he himself, he wants to see these explosions and stuff. He doesn't want the written reports. He wants the video of us bombing some site in Iran, bombing some boats. He himself is caught up with this stuff, and his followers are caught up with it. And they would allow him to do whatever as long as he keeps entertaining them.
Okay. Now, I last time I recall speaking with you, I mentioned the thing about the murder bots. Okay.
The what?
The use of AI as assassins. It's called murder bots. But anyhow, the problem was that there's a video called Murder, a TV video movie, whatever, called Murder Bot. But anyhow, when you get a chance, you go to YouTube, just Google micro flying robots weapon. Okay, micro flying robots weapon. They're gonna give you more than that. Is micro flying robots weapon AI murder B. Anyhow, I want you to look at that sometime and let's talk about it, because AI is another one of those issues that's coming up. And people
there
think,
was just an article out today. What's his name? Bill Gates is trying to set up a meeting with the president of China, because he's saying that the governments have to put in regulations to control AI.
Yeah.
And he's trying to set up a meeting with the Chinese president to discuss this. And he isn't the only computer person. Just about every computer person from this era. So the guy who joined with Steve Jobs, Steve Wawinski, he and a number of computer science people wrote a letter to Trump saying the same thing. The guy who created the internet is part of that. You could say any person who has been a major player in the computer industry, all of them are coming out and saying, yeah, they're for AI, but you need to control it.
Right. Okay. But I need to correct myself here. It's not murder bots. It's slaughter bots. Okay, that should bring it up for you. But I want you to take a look at that. Okay, in that context.
Yeah, I was going to hang up. I'll
right, because anybody in anybody in the right mind look at that and don't realize that we are already there. I think one of the challenges that we face right now is that you have Bill Gates and these other people saying what they're doing, what they're recommending, but in the same way that people are trying to make artificial human wombs and make people, through artificial means, you got folks out there doing things that we don't know about. Not everybody is advertising what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So when you see
And
that,
it's clearly something that needs to be regulated and controlled. It can't get out of hand if you just let it run.
It's nuclear. It's like nuclear war without the nuclear fission. When you see what's coming down there in terms of the future of the human race.
Right, and in fact, that's Bill Gates brought that up in his thing. He was saying that we have a nuclear regulatory commission to control nuclear power and weapons. So AI is a similar thing as a nuclear bomb. You can't just let it just run free and anybody can do whatever they want with it. It needs to be regulated.
Yeah.
Just like nuclear energy is regulated.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for calling and sharing with us here today. All right. You take care. All right. Okay. This thing called AI.
It's a wonderful thing.
It's got potential for being wonderful, and it's got equal potential for being destructive. And there's certain parts about it right now. For instance, they're building all these big data centers. One of the things that is of concern to me, and I think we talked about this before. The power of AI is the power of research. The power of AI is the power of the data pool that AI can draw from. And this administration has been shutting down research. And it's like you're building these big data centers, but you're going to this little stagnant pool of data.
Yeah, killing the data.
Killing it, and especially when you look at medical. If you don't have human trials going on and the data being gathered for AI to be able to figure out in 5 years what might take humans with old style computers to figure out in 50 years.
Right.
Okay? If you don't have the research going on, what the heck is AI for? It just don't make any sense to those who understand the relationship of data to the benefits of AI. I don't even like the term AI because artificial in intelligence, it's not intelligence, it's a best guess system. Okay. I think we got enough problems with real stupidity in the world to be getting sidetracked with this so-called artificial.
Yeah, the people who say that they ain't power.
Well,
anyway.
Brother, I just like I said, I just watching to see where it's going. Okay, I'm not passive. I have my own feelings about it, but in terms of looking what's going on now, mental health. We got these folks on these ships. They're going through what they're going through, and it's finally leaking out. They've been trying to suppress it. It's finally getting out there. Okay, now there's another side of this thing. You remember from the Vietnam days? You remember the term conscientious objector?
Mm-hmm.
Well, ever since they started shooting these people dead in them boat out there in the Caribbean, the amount of people who saying I can't do this, you need to let me out the military, skyrocketing. From the time they start blowing up children in schools and everything else there in Tehran and blowing up bridges that have nothing to do with military movement and everything, they got this surge going on of people who saying, let me out of this. This is not what I signed up for. I don't want to be someone who is promoting genocide or being outside of international law and all this other stuff. I mean, the fact of the matter is, on the battlefield, and somebody turn their back and running away from you, you shooting to kill them, that's a whole nother story. When somebody put their hands up and say, I give up, you can't just put your gun up and shoot them. Of course you can, but then that puts you outside of international law and gets you into the area of war crimes. But anyhow, line 2, WSTX, you're on air.
Yeah, I wanted to move on to the other part of education, but I must come back after listening to Mr. CC and yourself.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay. A lot of even federal judges have kowtowed to Trump, not because they are Republicans like him, but they're scared that they would either have to retire and maybe wait for the pension because he's going to hold it up, or he's going to fire them.
Well,
but there are others that are not so afraid. Now, will it ever happen in the history of the greatest nation that a federal judge would have President Trump arrested? I don't think it would happen because then we're looking for civil war.
Well, brother, we head into civil war anyhow. Don't kid yourself. It's coming. Okay, it's coming. You know, and the judges and the senators who are retiring, who have nothing to lose, so to speak, for following their conscience. They're not following their conscience. They're following their family and other relatives who are also benefiting from the system that have been threatened with whatever it is that they're getting being taken away. Okay, so when I watch Cornyn get up there and make his little statement that he had to read from and look, he looked so incompetent reading what he was reading. I call it how I see it, and you could see that he was going through the motions to put it on the record. So okay, I don't mess with me. Okay, let us stay. Let's agree to disagree, and I'm gonna stop saying these things, and I'm gonna support your vote on this, and put this man in as the new attorney general and everything else. It's really problematic. But you know, one part of the reason why I am saying I watching to see where this goes is that a lot of things that we took for granted in America, America is based on people doing the right thing because it's the right thing. Is based on certain norms that are no longer respected. It's based on things like um, gen things that a gentleman would do, all of these things. And the bottom line is here, and the gentleman before, he really summed it up well. Okay, that these people are businessmen and they're out to make money, and in this case, they have harnessed the office of the president to make money. Okay, you look at every major corporation that got some big contract from the government and see who's bought stocks in those companies, and all of a sudden have made a whole bunch of money. It goes right back to the president and his family and everything else. You know, and
in addition to that, there are a ton more of no big contract. He just giving these people $1 billion.
yes, no big contracts. Yeah, I understand, but it is the new normal. It is the new normal. What makes you think that Trump would leave and Democrats come in or an independent come in and the same shenanigans not gonna happen.
Well, to some extent.
Okay.
Maybe not so blatant.
We have a guest, Gerard. Gerard, you bringing somebody in here? We have a guest?
No.
Okay.
Remember I told you that the film crew supposed to be coming in?
Okay.
He's part of the
Maybe you have to check on the ball bus to make sure.
Look. Behave yourself. Don't be going there. All right. He don't threaten to use one on me here today. Okay. All right.
I want to give one.
It's a good thing we streaming so we could have people looking on and be able to say that yes, I see him raising Cain.
Yeah.
And he wasn't raising Cain, the child of the Bible.
You remember when we raised kids for the time kids?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to go quickly to the other education thing. I don't know why it's happening.
Hey, you're 3 minutes up, you know.
What is that?
You're 3 minutes up.
Okay.
He getting ready to call ICE on you.
Okay.
Your visa expire, he said.
One more minute.
Go ahead.
People graduating from universities and can't find work. Now, a report that came out on this young black lady, I don't think it's because she's black, and the white ones still can't find. She graduated, matriculated with a master's degree in communication. She spent 2 years searching for work. 500 applications, Tater and yarn, and still can't find work. What is America progressive country or not? What we doing? WLS.
Well,
You want me to help you?
well, you have a commander in chief that getting rid of all the jobs in the U.S. So what you expect supposed to happen? You need to act like you know what's going on.
Look what we come to.
Well, you know, what did people expect? If you're going to fire all of these people out of federal service, only to find out now that you had need them, okay, that aside. But if you're going to fire all these people, you created unemployment. You created unemployment. Is somehow or the other, how things going to be improving? How does that become a tool of making us have a more robust economy? All these folks out there who have small businesses that are shutting down simply because the population that was there to support them is no longer there because it's been removed through this administration. It makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And until the people themselves say enough is enough, then I just watch them and see where this is
now
going
have to prove that we, the people at the bosses,
yeah.
we're going to have to.
Okay, so your minute is up, you know. You went over that 1 minute.
Anyway, I'm going to come back.
Anyhow, Mr. Nibs, on our way out, I want to tell you that Gerard is a star, okay? He's a celebrity. He's being filmed and all kind of interesting things. So
I don't know what ignorance this man talking about.
okay, so anyhow, stay tuned, you know, because he gonna be there up on the Oscar stage just now. Watch me. Okay. Okay. And on top of that, he gonna move from a celebrity on the stage to a celebrity in government house. Mark my words.
I'm gonna do a random act.
Okay. All right. Take care.
I'm gonna come and borrow that 2 leg up there.
Behave yourself, brother. Behave yourself. Okay. But a lot of it just defies what people call common sense,
logic,
reason.
Okay.
So at that point, you just want to look at it and figure out what it is you're going to do when the time comes when all whatever broke loose. I don't know that it's gonna be hell, heaven, or whatever, but something gonna break loose. You can't keep taking away people's health care, making their cost of living get to the point where, you know, things just going downhill. You can't just keep doing that and believe everything gonna be good. It ain't gonna be good.
Well, you know, Doug, the thing is, I have something positive for the people.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you know, because
Which people? Trump people?
under UVI, under UVI, VIU said has what you call the I Can Connect program.
Okay.
Okay, the I Can Connect program. You can visit icanconnect.org. That's icanconnect.org. Or you can call 340-692-4267 to find out more about the program. This is a program that if you and your loved one has, or your loved one has considerable hearing and vision loss, the I Can Connect program is for you. And the reason why it's something positive is the fact that if you have these two disabilities and can meet the income guidelines, you get a free, I repeat, free iPhone, iPad, or computer or braille device, you know, for free. So that's something positive. You ain't got to spend for it. You know what I mean? It is free, you know, and that's one of the things that VIU said does for the community. VIU said also have a low interest loan program if you need to build around, make your house more accessible. You know, you can give us a call, 340-692-4267 to find out more about this low interest loan program, because you might probably have a disability, need to get yourself your house accessible. Give us a call, 340-692-4267. You know, we also have what you call our DME, our DMEs, you know, our DME closet, our durable medical equipment, which is we have wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. And we loan you those for free. Now, everything I'm telling you here, you get it for free at VIU set. So we help, how you say, with your budgeting needs. You know, yes, except for the loan though, you got paid that back. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I have a beef with you. You know, 'cause
What?
I need you to be an advocate for me, because you know I have a disability, and I think it's inherently unfair that a person who have a disability are running their mouth too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can't get one of these free iPhone that I get out.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? I could thump your eye and
Don't go there, brother.
cough you across the ear,
Don't go there.
make your hearing and visually impaired, and then you go pass the program.
No, man, no, man, no, man, no, man. You shouldn't have to resort to violence to help your friend.
Well,
Okay, and you say you're gonna run for governor, so I trying to make sure that when you get in these positions, you're gonna advocate. You're gonna forget Doug just because.
well, unfortunately, the program is for them and those who are hearing and visually impaired together. You know, I went to the seminar when it first came down. And I asked the man, I said, but I'm blind. He said, why you can't get an iPhone? He said, no, the grant is for the hearing and visually impaired or the deaf blind. I was like, well, I said, so I gotta be deaf and I gotta be blind to get a phone for free. You know? He said, yeah.
Well,
But it's known as the deaf blind equipment distribution program.
well, I can't afford to qualify. I gotta watch out for the pothole them and also know when it is my front end looking to give my car them pothole. Okay, so I guess I ain't gonna qualify for that. Okay, good thing. But hey, More power to you guys. You're doing great things out there with VIU set. Okay.
Yeah,
And when you make it big, don't forget Doug,
make it big.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer you talking.
You don't never know, You don't never.
Hey,
I
I
love it.
just a blind guy over there. That blind guy over there, doing his thing, trying to bring awareness to the public about persons with disabilities. I mean, you realize that in some instances, when people look at a person who visually impaired, they swear that I'm dead. You've been in the room and places with me. When people watching me, like I just come half a spaceship from another
My
planet.
son, they see you coming and they move out the way. You powerful. That's why I move with you, I don't have to worry about anything. So let me walk with you and they can clear the way. Yeah.
Listen, when I've been up in New York, we went over to Virginia Beach for 4th of July weekend. So we were driving, right? On the way back, man, I needed to pay the water bill really, really bad. So they were like, oh, you can't stop right now. Yeah. I said, you better stop, otherwise you're going to be mopping up this car. So they pull over. And they're like, oh, wow. So when I walk in the restroom, it's like when they see me come with a cane, everybody just like park, both sides, park, and tell me, oh, the next stall is yours. So the guy that was walking with me, he said, what? He said, wait, you like Moses part in the Red Sea?
Well, you got superpowers, boy. Every place you go, you are a walking seminar happening.
No.
Yeah.
This got the power.
No. I'm not talking about that part.
Yeah.
I'm talking about another part, okay? Because you are walking seminar. Because you got people arguing about whether you blind or whether you ain't blind. Okay? You are walking seminar, but by the time you don't leave, they're well educated.
Well, I was told by my boss, staff meeting we had over in St. Thomas. She said, Mr. Evelyn, you make blindness look normal. I said, what? He said, yeah, you don't act like I'm not blind person, I know. I said, Jesus Christ.
Well, I know one thing for sure. You might be blind, but you could hear. Okay?
True.
And it make all the difference in the world, whether it come to educating there in the food court, or keeping us from driving into an intersection when we have the green light and somebody intends not to stop for their red light.
Well, you know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness for every blessing, sir. All right. Well, it's about 10 minutes till, so we got a little bit of time here. So I want to talk about the random acts of kindness, brother.
Well, we have a little extra time today. I asked for it because we have a crew that's coming. They're running behind.
Okay.
They're coming from the airport.
All right. Well, we'll do what we got to do in that context.
So we got a little extra time to be here today. And like they said, they want to catch me in the studio. I don't know what for, but I guess they want to make sure.
They need to catch you when I ain't here, so they could see that you don't just be here trying to make me feel good, keeping my company.
They need to catch me when you're not here.
Yeah, when I'm not here, till I come again next week.
Oh, you mean like when I got Mr. Nibs on the rest, when I have my finger on the red button?
And Doug isn't in the house, you in control. Okay, you in control. And that's what it's all about. The fact of the matter is, living with a disability, very often it's crucial that our people come to understand that you don't stop being a person. You don't stop wanting to enjoy things like going out to jazz in the park. You don't want to stop doing things like listening to music at jazz festivals, or streaming when you're at these events. Yeah. you
You know, I was doing that. I think probably the last was it Jazz in the Park we did?
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was streaming and somebody said on the stream, if you're blind, what are you doing streaming? I just like ignored the comment, you know? Because I'm like, really, dude?
Well, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Because, like I said, you are a walking educator. Everywhere you go, you be there to educate people about things that otherwise they would never understand. And that's actually that's a gift and a blessing. I'll put it to you that way. That's a gift and a blessing because it needs to happen.
Okay.
And I remember that we were supposed to go to a school one time, and for you to address the class, and the teacher reneged on your coming and said something to the effect, what could these children learn from you? And it's sad, but it's real. We have folks out there
back at the post office
that have these what do you call it?
Come up the steps.
Preconceived notions about what it is to live with a disability, whether it's a mobility or visual or hearing and that type of thing. I remember going to an event one time, and I was sitting at a table with folks who were deaf, and it was an interesting learning experience, and I appreciate it. I have to say that there's something about being deaf. It doesn't advertise itself, so to speak.
No, it don't.
It doesn't advertise itself.
It don't.
And in that context, I appreciated being in their company and being able to experience life through observing, them at that time. And I've never been in an environment again where I could say that I was sitting with people who were hearing impaired to that extent and everything else. And I've been concerned in that context as to whether there is outreach to get them out and involved. And once I get them out, they can go out on their own, but it's also a different story when you're invited and when you're also given an opportunity to give another perspective.
Yeah, but I just remember as we were talking about the hearing impaired. I went to school with a guy that was hearing impaired, and he used to drive and stuff like that. And this man had a set in his car. He had a stereo system, booming stereo system in the car, and he can't hear. So I said, but through a translator, like, but what are you doing with a set in your car? And me, I got to ask a question. Right? So he said, through the translator, he said, I could feel the vibration. I was like, that's deep. He said he could feel the music. I was like, okay. And then I never thought about that. And he's playing his music and driving around like everybody else. And I'm like, wow. I said, okay.
And that's again, we come back to a different perspective. And until we have those type of conversations and share those conversations in a way that keep the momentum going.
Right.
Okay. I know I've told you the story about the time that I was in WAPA when I was working there, and somebody, Canton, I think is somebody who ain't seen me in a long time, whatever, right? And what it turned out to be was someone who went on to call out the fact that why we only have one teller and we got two windows.
Right.
And everybody had turned around and looked at Doug Canton. So, well, I was fortunate to know why we only had one, and it had to do that we usually have a total of 3 with 2 in the windows and 1 to switch out so that the others could go out to eat.
Right.
And so they would always have 2.
Mm-hmm.
So as it turned out, one point in time, one went out to eat and somebody hit them, car accident, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So they were recuperating. So we're down to 2, which means that those 2 still have to eat. So it means that there's going to be a time when there's only have 1.
When you only have 1, right?
And for the moment that I explained that to them, you could see the empathy, you could see the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in that context, everything was so different. But I knew that 15 minutes from now, when all the people who were there to hear and understand and be empathetic to what was actually going on, when all of those people left and it's had a whole new set in there,
Mm-hmm.
that all of that empathy and everything was gone.
It was gone because the new set of
So-
people that come in don't know what's up.
They don't know. Okay.
Right.
And so that's why I talk about the continuity.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation that you have when you talk about what happened in the food court, when you talk about what happened at handbells, when you talk about what happened in the vehicle,
Mhm.
where you learn about how this gentleman who was deaf appreciated music,
Mhm.
when you talk about the person who wanted to get upset with you because what were you talking about? You can't watch TV,
Yeah.
and all of these things,
I like those.
all of these things are part of what should be like a speaking tour or a documentary or something that can every now and then be brought back for people to see,
Mm-hmm.
because people have this tendency to define the world based on them.
Right. Because, like I say, my phone screen always dark,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You walking in
So-
and pretending like you could use a phone.
So this friend of mine, she saw me. Like I said, we were at the handbell choir, and I was tapping on and doing my thing, laughing and returning a text that somebody sent me a joke. So I was like laughing and stuff, and I'm like, so she like, oh wait, what are you doing, playing a game? I said, no, returning a text. So when she look and she see the dark screen, she's like, well, your phone ain't on. I said, yes, it is. She's like, no. I said, yes, it is. I said, the screen's off, but the phone is on. And then I manipulated the thing and saw that it works. And she was like, what? She said, wait, you got text? I said, yeah. So she's like, text me. So I put her name in, and I put her number in, and I text her. And she went around the damn church. I was like, look, he blind and he texts me. He blind and he texts me. I was like, to me, that was hilarious in a way. Sort of borderline disrespectful in a way. But I was like, you know what? Some people really don't know. That these things that he's capable of doing these things. So I just try when I butt up on certain people to make it like a teaching moment. You know what I mean?
Well, I will go a step further. You be who you are, how you don't move, it'll turn into a teaching moment, even when you don't realize that you're teaching. That's the best way I can put it, right? Because some people react. Some people react. I remember this gentleman, a young man said to him, how you could afford a car like that? Okay, but it was an innocent question. And the individual was offended, as opposed to saying to that person, well, I went to school, This is what I studied. I excel at it, and now I'm in this professional capacity and so forth, and I make the money so I can afford the car.
Right.
And if you do the same thing, you'll make the money and you'll be able to afford the car or whatever else that you like also. That person totally missed that opportunity. And it was truly an opportunity to have a teaching moment that could have made a difference in that child's life, or in this case, in the adult child's life, because these are adults who are like children relative to your knowledge, experience, and so forth and so on. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, it's just one of those things. We have to do this for various other things in the community. It's no different than using your turn signal and the impact it can make in terms of keeping order on the road and so forth and so on.
Right.
But anyhow, let's do the top of the hour here, if you don't mind. Okay. All right, though. Oh yeah, no. So anyhow, folks, we gotta make sure we take care of the station. Make sure everybody knows about WSTX and these wonderful organizations and other people out there who are doing their best to make sure that WSTX continues to be our community-minded station. All right. Your cup filed down. You got anything in it?
Okay, so
Hey, we back.
yeah.
We back. Hey, we're giving you guys a little extended show for this Thursday. What do you think about it? what you thinking about that? The numbers to call are 340-773-0390 or 340-773-0490. You know, this is the number to call to see. Let us know if you want us to stay till whatever time you want us to stay. I ain't gonna get dog in trouble. Yeah, whatever to me, like, yeah, dude, I gotta get out of here. So, anywho, so Doug, before you leave, what going on in St. Croix for the rest of the weekend?
Well, actually, I don't have too much. You know, one of the things I kind of feeling like Coach Foy now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I kind of feeling like Coach Foy. If you have a youth organization or other nonprofit that's doing stuff in the community, and there's a free mechanism by which you can get your activities advertised to the public, and you choose not to take advantage of it, well, that's your business. But if it is important for your message to be told, for people to be aware, then it's important, and you would see it fit to take advantage of the opportunities that come from getting your information talked about on the air, right? Especially to the extent that we stream, so not only is it on the air, but it's also now in the whole um, realm of the internet and international.
Yeah,
If they don't put that two plus two together, and many of them don't do that, okay, in that context, then what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
but you know what we'll talk about all the time with them doing it last minute.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even this week for this week, it makes absolutely no sense. People already have their time planned out.
Yeah, today for tomorrow and that kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah. So, in that context, I'll tell you. Let me see if I have anything here right now. Um, yeah. So anyhow, the bottom line is that has a lot to do with it, folks. If your not-for-profit organization is doing something in the community beneficial to the community, and you want to get the word out to create greater participation from the community, WSTX does our community calendar, and we will talk about it. We can't talk about it if we don't know about it. That's just the reality. Can't talk about it if you don't know about it. So, yeah, just something I want to mention here again, because the folks at VI Waste Management are doing their best to get the word out. All right. They have the residential waste disposal weekends where they have improved convenience for residents, and that was starting from back in July. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I'm going to presume that they are. I haven't heard an announcement that they stopped. But basically, the on St. Croix at the Cotton Valley bin site and Willow landfill, that they're open on weekends so that you can get the benefit of coming in and taking advantage of the opportunity to get certain type of waste products off your hand. Now, the one thing that I will be reaching out to waste management about is what is the plan for electronic waste? In particular, those folks that have TVs.
Yeah.
And and computers, but TVs in particular. I mean, I know of a situation right now. I got 3 TVs that need to be recycled, and the only reason why they're not outside there in somebody bush somewhere is because I don't play that. This is where I live, and the people who have TVs that I know that they need to get rid of don't play that either. So that's very, very important. All right. So let's see where that is going to go. Now we're also in the election season. So I have a question for you. Um, has there been any talk about voices that count?
I don't know.
Well, what first of all, what is voices that count?
Voices Account is a forum uh, for persons with disabilities that they would invite the gubernatorial and senatorial aspirants to come in and sit and answer questions from persons with disabilities at UVA. Normally, it's kept at the UVA Great Hall.
So wait now,
Um,
persons with disabilities does what?
well, I mean, you know about you, but I don't vote. You
No, but
you got a you say you got a disability.
yeah, I put it that way. I put it that way in okay. Just being devil's advocate.
Uh-huh.
Just being devil's advocate
Mm-hmm.
because the the way some of these folks were running for office, I would think that they just don't know that you vote.
Well, listen, only one body, one candidate I've heard in their ad mention persons with disabilities, and that's Miss Watley, Watley, Hanson
Mhm.
Watley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in her ads, I hear her mention persons with disabilities.
Okay. Well,
No, nobody else.
let me just throw out something right now. Okay, because somebody gonna want to file a complaint
Mhm.
that we are favoring a candidate by calling that candidate's name. Well, I just want them to know that Reflections has a co-host that is a person, just happens to be a person, not just a person, but a person with a disability. Okay,
That are listening.
and we will give equal time to those who have something to say to those people with a disability.
Yeah,
We want to make sure that they get a chance to speak with someone like a Jared Evelyn who doesn't have a particular orientation when it comes to politics other than being in favor of anything positive for persons with a disability.
correct,
Okay.
correct. So I mean, in listening to all the rhetoric, all the different ads and stuff like that, that is the only one I've heard that had something to say or even mention um, persons with disabilities.
I,
And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, so what happened to the rest?
I think back on the among the rest, I know somebody who has a disability.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyhow, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't start me up there, boy.
I mean, that was the best that they could do. Okay, that was the best that they could do.
I was like, kind of ignorance. I was like, you know what? I just walked off. I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, you don't deserve an answer.
Okay, so anyhow,
So that was my random after that day.
okay. Well, I am happy to see that the folks at VIU said are taking all advantage of you. Okay, and I say that in a sense that um, you whenever there's anything, whether it's the diabetes related or health related or disability related or whatever, that whenever there's some type of a public function going on, one of the things I can pretty much count on is I going to see Jared there, and possibly somebody else from VIU set as part of their, if you want to call it evangelism, okay, if you want to call it ambassadorship, whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is that it's about people, and having a disability doesn't make you any less people than anyone else. And we get now talking about voting. I think
Mhm.
it's a sad reflection when we hear that persons who are aspiring to office aren't doing the things that we would say are showing a concern and respect for persons with a disability. Okay.
Well, I think in that aspect, as you said, voting, I think the people, the voting, the board elections
Mm-hmm.
need to get with disability rights and so, and do more demonstrations of the machine that mark the ballot, for persons who are visually impaired, persons who are visually impaired,
Mm-hmm.
because the I know for a fact that there are some people that they can't they don't know how to use the machine. Okay, it's pretty simple. Once you're taught how to use it, so they need more demonstrations on how to use the automark machine. What I call the automark machine, but probably call something else. Because when I go to vote, that's the machine that I use to mark my ballot. Okay, so when I put the ballot in, I push the ballot in, and then the screen comes on, and then I have like a remote. I press the top button on the right hand side to shut the screen off. So anybody who's peeping around the corner to see who I voting for can't see what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my privacy there. So then I do all my voting, and then I go back and have the machine tally up everything. And then I say, okay, I finish, and I print the ballot. Then I have an envelope that puts it in, and then they walk me over to the
Okay. I like what you said. It's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Okay. Now you say it's pretty straightforward, but I want to just for impact in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to someone who is visually impaired. I don't just say blind, okay? But anyhow, and you're talking about someone who wakes up in the morning, navigates the bathroom, navigates fixing breakfast, navigates picking out the clothes, and he never once you see him on the street clashing, all right? Going through all of these motions to just be an ordinary person on the street, other than the fact that he has a disability. All right. And I'm saying that because sometimes when you say, oh, it's pretty straightforward, a lot of folks out there say, oh, okay. And they say, well, okay, if he could understand it, if it's pretty straightforward for him, it's something maybe to that. I need to check it out. What do you think?
Yeah, they could check it out. Like I said, they need to hold more demonstrations um, on the training and all that stuff, because um, I heard someone in the mass group saying that somebody have to fill out the paper for them. I told them, I said, no, nobody needs to fill out the paper for you. You could do it yourself. You just need the training at the board elections. So I need to find out. And then I knew a couple of weeks ago, I think disability rights helps something in Sonia's, but it was poorly advertised. So I I don't know how well that went, because I didn't go to it, because that was the day we had the book club. Um, so, but it's needed.
Yeah.
It's something that's needed.
Okay. Well,
I mean, like every year, because every year there's somebody new that's becoming a VIP. And when I say VIP, a visually impaired person.
all right. Well, you've been in this business for quite some time now. I call it in this business.
Too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
You ready to retire?
If I could, I would.
I hear that. But I remember the days with Sunny Isle, and their need for ramps in certain places. I
Yeah.
remember the days with you and Cassandra and cost you less, and now you see that these bigger stores have the mobility vehicles and other things available. You know,
I need to tackle Pueblo, but I ain't got around to it yet.
okay.
Yeah, because they don't have them and Stop and Shop in West.
Mhm.
They need at least they could at least have at least a wheelchair with a basket. You know, they don't have to get a mobility scooter, but at least a wheelchair with a basket that goes up on top. You know, where a person can push themselves if need be. You know, because I know some of the aisles could be small. You know, so the concession could be, like I said, the wheelchair with the basket on top.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
so,
you have to give credit where credit is due, in the context that sometimes when they don't have those type of tools,
mhm.
that they provide a most useful tool, which is a human being to assist you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the human being assisting is one thing, but in some cases they want you to write down what you want on a piece of paper and sit down by the front and have somebody do your shopping for you.
And that's not your.
No, it's not really that. You see, the problem I have with that is, suppose what I want isn't there. How are you going to know what I'm going to pick up instead of? You understand? So then you're going to have to run back to me every time. Oh, they don't have this. You need something else instead. You know, if I'm not there, I don't know where you're going to shop. So I got to be there with you. You understand? For you to explain to me, okay, I have this, I have that, I have this, but I don't have what you want. You feel me?
Okay.
So, but it's a work in progress. Like I say, I need to go into both Pueblos, and into Stop and Shop to see what what we can do about getting that stuff in there.
Okay.
You know, but I just haven't done it yet because working and not having enough time during the week. You know, and then the increasing the drivers with the Lytron buses.
Mm-hmm.
So are we supposed to have some drivers coming on board soon?
Fantastic.
So hopefully um, it improves the bus service. You know, so we see how that goes.
All right.
You know, because you know how it is with these people. I'll have to heal myself out of situations enough time.
Yeah. Well, I hear you. I hear you. Anyway, the most important thing is that you are doing that type of outreach and approach to businesses and organizations that can benefit from your input. Uh, the idea that it has always been a certain way doesn't give any credence to saying that it will always be a certain way. If you don't speak up, then hey, you take what you get. And in this case, Jared is out there letting people in our community know, uh, from the perspective of the visually impaired, and when possible from the broader view of a person with a disability, so that the community can benefit and better include persons with disability.
Yeah,
Right?
because I like excuse me, I don't benefit from the mobility scooter. I don't benefit from the wheelchair.
Mhm.
You know, because I can't see to maneuver with it. So that's for the person who is physically impaired, you know, that needs that device to do their shopping. You understand? So, as I just say, I advocate for myself and others. You understand? So that's what I do. I don't just advocate for someone who is visually impaired. Because that's not the only disability you have on there.
All right. So you also, you also been involved with the folks at Independent Living for how long?
It's been a while. It's more than over 10 years.
Over 10 years. All right. And so you've seen quite a bit happen in terms of that, and if not persons with disability in the broader spectrum of how they've supported the community here on St. Croix in particular.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So how did you come to know about them and what they do?
It was, what it was, my kid's grandmother had the uncle was disabled, and she started going there, and she had problem pushing him. So I used to assist her. I still had a little vision then, so I used to assist her with him. And she was going there. So after I lost my vision, that's when I had signed up to start going there. Because and then of course sign up with the talking book library and all that stuff. It was like I came back home from New York, trying to navigate around with everything, and you know, I just like I just did it. You know, thanks to my training on the lighthouse in New York. You know.
Okay. So let's rewind a little bit. First of all, you have people that are born with visual impairment. It's a different thing where someone all their life knows nothing other than being visually impaired.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, visual impairment is something that happened in the middle of life.
Yeah.
Driving,
Yeah.
going to the movies,
Yeah.
going to the dance, whatever the case may be, fixing car, racing car, all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, when that happened to you, what was the transformation process like for you? How did you navigate what happened?
I will sum it up in one word: rough. Rough. It was not an easy road. It was not an easy road. I mean, what you see now is is the polished version. It's the best version of me from when I started. You understand? But it was rough in the beginning.
Well, I'm saying this for emphasis. There are people who have expressed not being able to continue living if they lost their sight.
Well,
And I say that in the sense that the depth of the challenge that you face, depression, whatever,
yeah,
you have those type of experiences.
I wasn't gonna go there, but since you asked,
Well, I'm gonna go there
since you went there, yes,
I'm gonna go there because
yeah,
the bottom line is that
it those thoughts they crossed my mind, and it was like I said, everything was challenging. It went from seeing to not seeing in a span of 24 hours. And so it's like I was seeing this morning. I got up, I cooked my food, I got myself together. I went to work. I work a 4 to 12 shift. Went home, reached home about 1 o'clock, take a shower, went to bed, woke up, opened my eyes, I can't see nothing. It was just like that, you know. So you could imagine, I was like, at first I thought it was still night. You know what I mean? So then when I realized, I think, what it's morning. When I find my way outside, the sun was up. I was like, yeah, somewhere right here. So I went back, feel my way around, find my phone. I'm trying to remember who I called. Can't remember who I called. I called somebody. And I told him, I said, I got a problem. I need to go to the eye doctor. So they called the eye doctor for me and told me come in. And first thing them going to tell me when they saw me, oh, we can't do nothing for you. You need to go away. And they go away where? I didn't know where to go. You know, so now that began my journey.
Your journey. Okay.
You know, so hey, here
And here you are today.
yeah, here I am today.
Here you are today. You know,
Yeah.
definitely. All right. Well, you know, that's a very important part of the message that needs to get out there is to know that it is a transition, a major transition when things happen that way. And there is hope, there's opportunity, there's possibilities, there's so much out there, especially with how technology is really helping us
Oh,
these
yeah.
days.
Thank God for technology, Mr.
Okay.
I could say that.
All right. Well, it's been an experience having you here in the studio with me, and we had our own journey before we even got in the studio. So in that context, it's just life going forward. Life going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, sir. It's been a pleasure,
Yeah.
and
I think it's 10:30 now.
it's about that time. It's
Yeah.
about that time.
So we run our time out.
Yeah. So the interesting thing that in life is like we laugh and we talk and we joke just like everybody else, and that's because we are just like everybody else. Okay. All right, folks.
So I know you need to get out of here, and so do I. So
Well,
sorry
with
to
that,
disappoint our
we have to call
listeners. We are call it another.
the marshal and let her do her thing, and so she can log us out of here and move forward accordingly. All
Yeah.
right? So, tell me now,
Mhm.
when is this thing for the Oscars? Are we gonna get a screening before the Oscars or what?
You talking to me?
Of course, of course. And don't leave us out, okay? Don't get up there in the high grass now and forget.
You hear that cute little voice in the background? You need to ask them that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
See, I could hear them to my left.
Like the car coming to the intersection, you got them.
Oh, that was to my right.
Okay, okay.
So
All right.
we need to call Jen and have Jen come and do a thing here.
Close us out in that
Close
sense.
us out and
Okay, folks, just know that you gotta know that coming to a TV, a cell phone, tablet, whatever near you is gonna be the story of Gerard. Okay,
really.
it gonna be bigger. It gonna be bigger than the biggest thing that going on. What's that? The abyss.
I don't know.
All right. Anyhow,
I don't know.
so we got St. Thomas in the house. St. Thomas have anything to say for us here today?
No. Khalifa?
Are you guys still on air?
Yes, we're still on the air. Okay, so would you come here, please, and introduce yourself in terms of the people that he works with? Just a quick moment,
Oh,
please.
I don't know.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's Khalifa.
Khalifa. Okay, Khalifa is in there. Okay, tell her come in. Tell her she has a needs to come in here. Okay.
She's in. She was out. Yeah, she's working on doing something right now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, then she don't get it.
She's always walking.
Always working.
Yeah.
Always working. Okay.
She's the backbone of the IUC.
Okay. Well, engineer, when you're ready.
Are you a co-host?
For me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so generally when you start a show, we're just gonna pretend we're doing the start of the show right now. When you generally start a show, how do you start?
Well, that depends. Okay. The bottom line is very often he's the person who opens the show. Sometimes I'm the person that opens the show. It really doesn't. It's not crucial.
Okay, so can we get a shot of you just pretending to open the show, so then that way we can get that?
Okay. All right.
Call line.
I have a call line one. Okay.
Well, then
Okay. WSTX.
you could
Hello.
Yes, hello. Apologize. Good morning.
Good morning.
Apologize for calling so late. I just tuned in and heard the gentleman speaking about the visual impairment, and I have that problem. I have progressive glaucoma, and I'm able to see so far right now. They haven't stopped me from driving yet. Right quick, as a matter of fact, I have an appointment tomorrow with the surgeon. But I just needed to know if there's any other way as far as the experiences, because the depression, the anxiety, and the fear of, one day you're not going to be able to see at all.
yes.
And I am trying to find out, get more information of someone that's been through that transition, to speak to someone.
Well, I've been through that transition, and one thing I will tell you to do is get assistance from Island Therapy with with counseling, because you're gonna need that, because you have a rough road ahead.
Okay, to wake up one morning and can't see nothing at all.
Yes.
Okay.
If I can.
Mentally, how you dealt with it?
We are here. I can't really say that, but it was rough. Is when I left the island. I took surgery, 6 different surgeries, and still there was no. My vision didn't come back, so I was seeing a therapist while I was up there in New York.
Okay. Okay.
So it takes some time to get accustomed to it.
Okay. All right, but you're still gonna need some help with family, wife, or still gonna need.
Well, sometimes I'm gonna tell you this: the closest people to you are gonna be the first people to disappear.
Okay. Well, let me just interject here. First of all, I'm happy that you called. Jared works with an organization called VIUSED. I don't know if you're familiar with them. You're part of the University of Virgin Islands. And so in terms of speaking with him beyond the show, Jared, you want to give her the number?
The number you can call is 340-692-4266.
I didn't hear those numbers. Can you repeat?
340 692 4266.
Okay.
You'll get me you'll get me directly there.
Okay. All right. So it will give me a chance to
reiterate and find out more.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you and best in your journey.
And thank you for calling. And don't be a stranger. You can call back next week, Thursday morning.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because we're here on the show from 8 until 10. We're just doing a little extension today.
Okay, so we can do that tomorrow?
No, Thursday morning. You could call me. You could call me on my job later on today before 3 o'clock or tomorrow morning from 9 to 3.
Okay, thank you again so much, and God bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless you too.
Take care.
Okay, and with that said, you have listened to the extended version of Reflections with Doug and Jerry. So we're going to bid you guys a farewell until next week, Thursday. We're going to see you same time, same place, different topic. Peace out.